have for you, for your presentation, for your consideration, perhaps the single greatest turnaround in the history of football. I am not over-exaggerating at all. Am I prone to do that? I don't know. But this, not an over-exaggeration, because we've actually covered this team before. That's right. This is a callback. This is a throwback. One of my favorite throwbacks to a ye olde club called Tuv Azarganud. I don't know if you've ever come across Tuv Azarganud before. If you haven't, then you clearly haven't watched a video that I made. How dare you not watch every single video that I make? You're not allowed in the Cool Kids Club anymore. Tuv Azarganud plays in Mongolia. And obviously the Mongolian Premier League, or whatever it's called, is that is the Mongolian Premier League is something that we all keep up with. So I don't need to catch you up on the details. But essentially, they had the worst start of any team ever. Okay. Now, they had a couple of articles that I found from the Wayback Machine here that can help highlight exactly how bad their start was. They set the record for the worst ever start to a season in top flight of football. The club's taken losing to a whole new level, scoring just 2 goals and losing every game so far this season. By the way, in the process of scoring those 2 goals, they've conceded a whopping 111 goals. The only image that this article seems to be able to find of Tuv Azarganud playing is some random dude laying in the snow with the ball behind him, not even in the goal, which makes this a rare occurrence for their defense. This article calls them a newly promoted side. It is wrong. They were not newly promoted. The elite club that conceded 111 goals in 9 games, right? This is another article that captures, right? It was a global fascination. I was not the only person that was interested in why Tuv Azarganud was suddenly so bad. And I say suddenly because they got promoted in 2021. They then finished 5th for 3 straight years in a 10-team top-flight league in Mongolia. There is promotion and relegation. There's a whole football pyramid in Mongolia, and they were 5th in it for 3 consecutive years, which is obviously pretty impressive, pretty nice result for a team that had just gotten promoted. They're basically the Crystal Palace of Mongolia, firmly entrenched in that mid-table position. It was from here they started their truly unstoppable quest. But I will impress upon you how ridiculously bad you have to be, okay? They lost their opening match of the season on August 18th, 14-0. The Khan Kun Zerkim, 7-0, 4-0, 13-0. 21-0 to Darren, 12-0 to Falcons, 11-1 to FC Ulaanbaatar, at least they got a goal, 9-0 against Hunters, and 20-1 against Brera Illich. Now, that is a problem because Brera Illich was the worst team in the league that wasn't them. But for some reason, after this match, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's when everybody started paying attention to them. For some reason, they turned the corner. I don't know what that reason is. I have looked everywhere. If there happens to be a Mongolian in this community or somebody that is able to follow the Mongolian League or has family in Ulaanbaatar, I need to know. Because I was curious enough about what was happening that caused this. I imagined it was the team just kind of went broke, and so they didn't have any of their players, and so they picked up essentially an amateur team playing against the best players Mongolia has to offer, which clearly wasn't going too well. But honestly, if you're looking at these results, they are so bad. I'm pretty sure if you took my high school soccer team and threw them in this league, they'd be getting better results than this. It is hard to lose to the second worst team in a league 20-1. Right, when it's all athletic adults on the field playing that have some idea how to kick a ball in a straight line, it's difficult to lose 20-1 to a team that got a red card, by the way. But something after those 9 matches, the minus 111 goal difference after 9 matches in just a 27-match season where you play every other team 3 times, they turned a corner. It might not look like it initially because they lost 2-0, but I remind you, this is the team they lost 14-0 to, and they got 2 red cards in this match. Now, obviously, there's very little information given from the Mongolian League on Flash Score, but they got a couple of red cards. Then they go on the road against Kovt. They lost 7-0 at home in this match. In the previous round, they lose 4-2. And then they play against Kangareed. Kangareed's a team they lost 4-0 to the first time, and they lost 5-1 on the road. At the very least, in these 3 losses, particularly these 2, you can see significant progress. Something happened after this Brera-Ilic match. You don't lose by a combined score of 29-1 in consecutive matches and then put together 3 mildly competitive performances after that. Did they sign a whole new team? Did they call up the Mongolian national team? Did everybody start taking it easy on them because they were sad about how bad they were beating them? But this is where things really turn around. They were playing aside Koromkon, and they gave up a 16th minute goal, which is par for the course, right? They're supposed to lose this 5. They lost 13-0 the first time they played this team in this season. And then they scored 2 goals in a 4-minute stretch to grab their first win of the year, their first points of the year. After 12 matches without a single point, Tuva Zarganud won 2-1 at home against Koromkon. Again, whatever happened that led to this, I have absolutely no idea. The next match was a draw against Darren, which is an important team because Darren beat them 21-0. 21-0. That was their worst loss in that stretch of 9 matches to start the season. They pulled out a 1-1 draw. The old team showed up with a 7-0 loss to Falcons in the next match, but after that, something truly remarkable happened because they have now played 15 matches and they are sitting on 4 points. They won 4 straight games, 3 of them by multiple goals. They beat Ulaanbaatar 3-0. They beat Hunters 2-0. And most importantly, they beat a team that beat them 20-1, 2-1. That means they got at least a point from the 2 teams that scored 20 goals on them earlier in the season. And then they beat Kans Kunzer Keem 4-0. 4-0. This is a team that smoked them 14-0 to start the season. Now, look, I'm a believer in sports miracles. I really am. The idea that American Samoa, if you gave them, 1,000 chances, might be able to squeak a draw against Brazil if everything goes exactly the right way. But I don't believe in this. There's no way this is the same team that was out there on the field in the first 9 games. I don't know who it was. There is no evidence that I can find, right? Of anything, absolutely. But they won 4 straight matches, guys. They won 4 straight matches. 4 straight. Against, I mean, here's the thing. Even if they overhauled the squad with basically spare parts or wherever these guys came from to try and improve the team, it's still remarkable they were able to turn the team around enough to be able to win 4 consecutive matches. And those 4 wins take them all the way up to 16 points, which all of a sudden gives them an opportunity to do something particularly insane, which is avoid relegation. Last place in the league gets relegated instantly. If you finish 9th in the league, you go to a relegation playoff. The problem is after that, the old team didn't quite return. These are competitive scores, but they didn't get the results they needed. They lost to Kulft. They lost to Kangareed. They lost to Koromkon. They lost to Darren 3-1. Which, again, is fine. They lost to Falcons, who are clearly the best team in the league, 6-1. And then they lost to Ulaanbaatar 3-0. This leaves them sitting on 16 points, tied with Brera-Ilic for the relegation spot. At which point, they pulled out, after that big losing streak, a 2-1 win at Hunters to take the 9th position in the table going into the final match day. The problem for them is that Brera-Ilic has a better goal difference. That probably shouldn't be a surprise, considering the goal difference for Tuva Zarganud was minus 111 after 9 matches. It did not improve from there. It just went down less fast. So, the final match day, Tuva Zarganud's on 19, Brera-Ilic is on 16. If Brera-Ilic wins, Tuva Zarganud does get relegated. If Tuva Zarganud wins, they're going to the relegation playoff with a chance to survive, and you can see what happened. A 4-1 win for Tuva Zarganud. At no point were they in trouble. They had a 2-0 lead at halftime, and they finished it off late, 80th, 95th minute. And that sent them to the playoff against Ulaangom City, at which point Tuva Zarganud, in a match that didn't even track what minutes the goals were scored on Flash Score, just what halves, They won 9-0. Now, obviously, the level of the second division of Mongolia, I have no idea what that is compared to the top flight. So I don't know if this was an expected score or a huge aberration or everything just came together and it was a disaster for Ulaangom City. But based off what I know, it's a one-leg playoff. And on the 4th of August, Tuva Zarganud managed to keep itself in the Mongolian Premier Division with a goal difference of minus 125. They conceded 156 goals in 27 matches, but they finished the season with 22 points, 6 clear of Brera Ilch, a team that beat them 20-1 earlier in the season, and they won the playoff match to stay in the league. Shout out to Falcons for being the league champions. But I am not, I hope you understand that I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is a mind-boggling turnaround. When I made that initial video, the question wasn't, are they going to get relegated? It was, are they going to get a point? They got 22. They won the playoff. Congratulations to this club. Their fans, their players. I don't even know what happened. And in some ways, I don't even care. It's just remarkable to look at.